podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey, Paul, how's it going? How are you doing?
Yeah, all right. I didn't want to interrupt you because it was such a flawlessly done intro. But of course, the Southampton game was actually away from home because I think even we wouldn't get a manager sacked for failing to beat us at home. Although Mark Hughes, of course, did get sacked for failing.
I mean,
to beat
it really
us
does come to something.
What I was about to call St Mary's. Is that the new one or the old one? That's the new one.
Yeah, St Mary's. Yeah, the Dell was the old one.
Yeah, of course.
Where the stands were basically on the pitch.
And so was Matt Letizia, and all was well with the world.
Exactly, yeah. Amazing. It really does. Is some kind of commentary about the current state of United, I felt, or maybe it was just my negative perception of it, that Hughes got sacked because he didn't beat us. I mean, what would have happened if Southampton had beaten us? So they'd have waited a week to appoint their new manager because they clearly had the new guy in the bag already.
Yeah, it felt like actually what this was really about was not making the new guy's first game be against United, to be honest. Although, you might as well have, to be fair.
That's a free shot, isn't it?
Things are looking a bit brighter now because we've just beaten Fulham 4-1. But this was some kind of nadir, wasn't it? Once again, United fight back and kind of almost, you could say, like borderline impressively. But the capitulation in the first period of that game was genuinely embarrassing, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it was awful, wasn't it? And just, I mean, until Lukaku got that first one back, it just didn't look like there was anything coming from United at all. They were arguing with each other on the pitch and the heads went down almost immediately. Southampton, the worst team in the league, well, maybe apart from Fulham, and how they were 2 up in 20 minutes, it was just completely shocking. I'm struggling. It's that long since we've actually recorded one of these podcasts. I can't quite remember the first goal, exactly how it happened.
So
Can you? It
kind of rebounded out to Lukaku, and he put in a really nice finish.
Yeah, no, I mean the first Southampton goal.
Oh, yeah. Was the first one the one that was actually quite a neat passing move and then it was fired in from a tight-ish angle?
That's right, yeah. And then Suarez, stuck it in top bins for the second. Which actually made me laugh by the end of the game because Southampton had, 5 or 6 free kicks in really good areas around the box. The first one, Suarez, scores an absolute worldie. He's a central defender. Not a single other one they allowed him to take. Everyone else wanted to have a go too, didn't they? They all wanted to be heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. But, brilliant free kick. Slightly foolishly given away, if I remember rightly, that game. It was a really weird affair because then there was that little fight back. The Lukaku goal from the rebound, as I said, that fantastic Ander Herrera goal, just a completely brilliant flick, and both assists by Marcus Rashford, who I think is worthy of special praise for his performances in the last little bit of time after coming in for a lot of stick for missing chances. And
look, some of the stick that Rashford gets is fair because he does miss chances or has been missing chances this season, and some of it's totally unfair because actually he's one of the players that really is trying hard but doesn't always get a seamless run in the team, does he? Because he's competing with other players for a spot, and rarely gets a run in, I guess, the position he'd really like to play, which is through the middle. Was it 4 assists and a goal in the last week or so?
Something like that, I think. How many assists did he get against? 4 assists and a goal since we last recorded a podcast for Marcus Rashford. So not bad going. And 2 goals in 3 games for Romelu Lukaku too, which is worth saying given that he could not buy a goal before that. But I mean, not that I wouldn't say that he's actually been playing well for any of that time. The Herrera goal against Southampton, beautiful. The flick from between his legs, just excellently executed. Great vision from Rashford to pick him out. But there's three things about this game. The first is how badly we started. The second is how well we played between going 2 down and getting to 2-2. And the third is what a complete disaster we were in the second half of that game, where we just offered absolutely nothing. I thought it was an atrocious second half performance from United. 5 shots in the whole of the second half, considering we were, in desperate need of a goal and a win.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you kind of felt that the momentum coming out of the first half would really have played into United going forward in the second half. I mean, we've talked a lot about United's comebacks this season or over the last season and a half or so, and a lot of them are based on desperation. In a way, this was as well. It's just the desperation came a lot earlier, and maybe that was the problem because we couldn't sustain it into the second half. I don't know, but yeah, desperately poor. And of course, it definitely wasn't the manager's fault. It was all the players' fault. Mourinho made sure we understood that after the game, and I believe everything he says because he never lies to us and always accepts responsibility where it is due. I mean, especially when it comes to the performance of his players.
Listen, there were injuries, right? We get that there were injuries and a number of injuries concentrated in a specific position. But his response to those injuries was to play a back three, the back three we've all been waiting for, of Phil Jones, Scott McTominay and Nemanja Matic. I mean, this is the not so much back me or sack me as please sack me. Please sack me, please sack me. I don't want to be here anymore, please sack me.
Well, he did it against West Ham before, didn't he? And
not both of them, though. Not both Matic and McTominay in the same back three.
Magic. I mean, just he's looking for players to be able to pass it out of the back. He's looking for total football. He's rejected this notion of parking the bus and just being a reactionary manager, and he's gone to the Ajax school. That's what it was all about, Paul.
It may well have been all about that. And then afterwards, after that game, this is a long time ago now, isn't it? So breaking down the specifics of the dreadful football is probably a bit redundant. Mourinho, he talked about not having enough mad dogs in the team after Arsenal. I think that was after Arsenal, wasn't it? It was after this one that he said...
I think it was after the Southampton game he talked about bad dogs.
Right, okay. This was also the game where he talked about the beauty of simplicity, though, wasn't it? Because the beauty of simplicity was the public line about Paul Pogba. The players need to learn there's beauty in simplicity. Pogba was dreadful in this game, by the way. Absolutely dreadful. That completely deserved personal opprobrium for his performance in this game. But afterwards, Duncan Castles publishes a story that says Paul Pogba is a virus. Or he said the story says that Mourinho has said to Pogba in the dressing room after the game, "You're a virus. You infect everyone around you. Those who want to play, etc., etc., etc." I mean, has ever a man been more in need of a mirror and a microscope to see a virus in its reflection?
Yeah, logistically that might be a bit difficult, but yeah.
I think so.
Not one for self-reflection, really. Mourinho, is he? Pogba had a bad game against Southampton, but did everyone else in midfield or the rest of the team have a good game? Is that what we're saying? Do we really believe that?
No, Pogba killed them all because he's a virus infecting great, honest pros like Marouane Fellaini.
Yeah, there were a number of people who made the same joke on Twitter, so I can't really tell you the original source of this, but I think... didn't someone... I may have sent you the original one, I can't remember. Someone said if Pogba's a virus, then Mourinho is a terminal illness.
No, it was Gaz from Full Time Devils who said if Pogba's a virus, then Nemanja Matic is a terminal illness.
Totally screwed it up, but yes. No, I think that's fair as well. But Matic has been dreadful for a year and a half, but so we know he's completely devoid of any criticism for Matic, isn't he, Mourinho? But he lays it all on thick, for his favourites or lack of favourites. Anyway,
so the thing about that story is, like, it was Duncan Castles that published it, and so that means it's approved by Gestafiete. You know, that's what I mean. Okay, don't sue us, Duncan. Maybe there was not technically approval from Gestafiete, but let's be more.
Where does the message come from?
It was very well sourced. It was likely to be very well sourced to serve a specific interest, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really gross. And if it's true verbatim, then Mourinho should be sacked for gross misconduct, for undermining one of United's most valuable assets.
Yeah, well, Mourinho clearly wants him out of there. And there was a second story, a follow-up story this week, which was also published by Castles, which said, what does Pogba have to do to get back in the team? Which was basically about, putting in as much effort as the rest of the players and all of that kind of stuff. But, read between the lines, this is do what your manager says. I did think it was interesting that the retort, apparently from Pogba to the virus line was, and you're suffocating this team.
Right. Yeah, good line. And very true, of course. Honestly, I can't wait till Mourinho is not manager of Man United anymore. It's just horrible. I hate watching us. I hate it when we lose, and when we win, it's like, oh, great, yeah, that's papered over the cracks.
Yeah, and the thing is, the wins come at the right time for the manager, don't they? And don't get me wrong, I want United to win, 10-0 every week. It might get boring at some point, but it would take a very long time for me to get bored of that. So, I want us to smash it all the time and win everything. But that's not happening. And us smashing a team every few weeks in between really awful, narrow wins and devastating losses is not good, is it? And I know exactly what you're saying. We smashed Fulham 4-1, and there's a little voice at the back of my head cynically saying, yeah, Mourinho's going to be around for a bit longer, and I can't go on Twitter for a few hours because there's going to be a bunch of nutcases going on, see, we're back.
I mean, anyone that's sincerely doing that after a 4-1 win over a team that was so, just nothing-y, needs to have a look at themselves. The weird one for me was the Arsenal game, because that, you described it as an exciting game, which I suppose is technically true, but it was like, I don't know, it looked kind of like two drunk people fighting to me, that game. Like it was,
yeah, that's pretty exciting. I'd pay to watch that. It's sport, isn't it?
And basically, most of the drunk people fighting was just Marcus Rojo.
Talk about the mad dog. Yeah, it definitely was after Southampton where he said we lacked a couple of mad dogs because, this is Marcus Rocco going full mad dog when he tried to kneecap someone.
He really took his manager's advice to heart, didn't he? So in this game, we went 1-0 down and then equalised almost immediately through a Tony Marshall goal, which that's always lovely to see. And then we went 2-1 down and really seriously equalised almost immediately through Jesse Lingard, barely had the dust settled.
Yeah, and I guess we should talk about the first Arsenal goal because it was a pretty bad mistake from David De Gea, and we're not used to seeing it, but it was a Spain style Rick, wasn't it?
I mean,
because it never happens for United, but it happens every other game for Spain.
You said the other day that you wouldn't be surprised if his head's gone a little bit. And this was, when was the last time he made a mistake like that for United? I mean, I guess some people were very critical of the Aguero goal, weren't they? But that's not even close to being comparable to this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember. This was a huge Rick, but they come along less than once a season of this nature. So, but
listen, he's David De Gea, right? He's a superhero in human form. He's the springiest llama on the planet. He has the reflexes of a, hyperactive superhero. But that should come along 0 times ever in a goalkeeper's professional career, shouldn't it?
True, but it always, I know, but it always does.
Yeah, right.
They all make some mistakes. I mean, I think the exciting part about this game, apart from the nature of the goals either way, was the fact that United at least felt like there was something a bit more. There was a bit more oomph about them. I mean, I'm sure Mourinho enjoyed it more, and and the Twitter crowd enjoyed it more because there was passion, wasn't there? Passion and soul. In fact, that might have been something Mourinho said afterwards, saying there was passion and soul and something like that. I think he did say exactly that. So, yeah, I get that. The quality, on the other hand, wasn't awesome, was it? The game was pretty scrappy. I think I remember seeing neither team had particularly good passing stats in this one. A lot of defensive mistakes on both sides, wasn't there? Marcus Rocco made a mistake as well as David De Gea.
I mean, I was just going to say, like, we talked about the De Gea mistake. If we're going to talk about that, we've got to talk about that second Arsenal goal and what just an omni-shambles that was. Rocco giving the ball to them and then just every decision made by every United player in the split seconds after that, compounding that terrible error.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it. I mean, Rojo gave the ball away. Everyone ran past Matic. Smalling, what was Smalling doing in that one? I remember thinking there were three of them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Bailly. But yeah, complete tangle of mistakes from everybody. But we see this from United far too often this season. How many goals have we conceded now? Like 25 or something in the league?
It's a shed load, of course, but and after by the end of the Arsenal game, we were 15 games into the season with negative goal difference.
But that has all changed. It is no longer the case. We've reached the glory land, the promised land of positive goal difference.
We are positive goal difference FC, as Nick from Man United Youth called us. It just took the 16 games to crawl back out of there. We'll see how long it lasts. We got Liverpool on the weekend. Anyway,
yeah, exactly. After you get completely bummed by Liverpool at the weekend. Yeah.
I think it's probably worth saying that United scored from basically the only two decent chances they created, and every other chance they created is like less than 0.1 xg, and there weren't that many of them either. So, like, even though this was, you said the kind of Twitter atmosphere was better. One thing for sure, the atmosphere in the ground sounded amazing, and everyone that I've spoken to that was at the game said the atmosphere in the ground was amazing, and I had a bit of a chat about it on Full Time Devils actually after that game. So I did their Fulham preview, and there was a bit of a discussion about Eric Bailly kind of geeing up the crowd, and obviously the crowd react to Marcus Rocco, who somehow managed to put a 2-footer in the opposition box.
Yeah, and I just absolutely magical that moment was.
It really was special. He's a special player. He really is. He's got something about him. There were loads of yellow cards in that game. They all seemed to happen within a couple of minutes. And I was watching on the TV, and I think it was Steve McManaman who was just fuming at all the yellow cards, and every single one of them was 100% a yellow card.
Yeah, I watched this one. I was in Argentina last week, so I watched it there. I would say that the locals weren't getting quite as riled up about this game as they may have been about their little local derby that was happening this week.
You mentioned, though, Marcus Rashford not getting a chance to play in his favoured position, but I guess in the two games that we've talked about so far, he did, because he played back three in both of these games with two strikers.
True.
And Lukaku didn't start, did he, in the Arsenal game? And he came on late. I think he started against Southampton, if I'm not mistaken. It was Martial and Rashford who played up front for Arsenal, and against Arsenal,
Lukaku coming on,
yeah, and then Lukaku started up front on his own the following week, the following game against Fulham. So a couple of games as centre forward for Rashford, and he's obviously been very productive, and he was very busy in the Arsenal game when he didn't get a goal or an assist. It was a weird game. Mourinho had said he wanted more mad dogs, and there were mad dogs all over the pitch. Diego Dalot, who we should talk about, made his first Premier League start against Arsenal.
Yeah, he did okay. He looks exciting going forward. He got himself out of position an awful lot going back, and I guess maybe that's all we can expect from him. How old is he? 19, 20, something like that.
And also he's playing at wing back rather than full back in that game. So it is a different discipline, isn't it?
Look, if you're playing at wing back, you need a lot of legs in midfield, and we're playing Nemanja Matic. because someone's got to cover, right?
Yeah.
If you're going, someone's got to cover, and this is part of United's problem. So effectively, we have to play 5 at the back.
Yeah, I mean, it was Ando, wasn't it, that was really doing the covering. An interesting midfield three of Herrera, Lingard and Matic. The Pogba talk wasn't just talk. He hasn't played since. And United have got a kind of positive draw against Arsenal. Although, honestly, I think we were rubbish in that game. I thought we tried hard and, there were a few moments of quality, but I really thought that was a more or less, you could say that was a bad performance, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. And the narrative that came out of it, of course, was that United were better and there was a bit more heart and soul and all of that kind of stuff. But the quality defensively was horrendous, and going forward was not enough. I mean, XG of what was it? Sorry, just looking it up. 1.33, which is about standard for United.
And that is an ugly, damning thing to say about a football team of United, with the expectations that United have on them, with the attacking resources that United have at their disposal. And then we beat Fulham 4-1, and you said, every so often we smash someone, but this is the first time we've smashed anyone all season. This is have we even beaten anyone by 2 clear goals this season? I'm gonna say no.
No, I don't think
Young Boys away was the last time we beat anyone by 2 clear goals, and we've not beaten anyone in the Premier League by 2 clear goals before this game, and we've had plenty of teams who we should have been beating by 2 clear goals. But finally, we found someone who was rubbish enough to make us look good, and we did look in that first half. Really, 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 really good. Being 3-0 up at half-time. What a feeling. How unusual is that?
Well, very unusual. Very unusual, and I guess we have to be thankful for the fact that Fulham are completely bobbins, aren't they? Just a really, really bad team, and Ranieri has got a hell of a job on his hands to save them, because how many points have they got now? 9 points. All their fundamentals are completely dreadful. They can't look in the data to some kind of regression to the mean that they're suddenly going to be saved. He is, after Fulham spent £100 million on new players in the summer. He has got a hell of a job, because they look down already. Although, of course, they're not, because they're one win out from being out of the bottom 3. But it doesn't look like they'll be picking an awful lot of points up anytime soon. And United took full advantage. And the players that look good in games where there's nothing coming from the opposition sort of did well. Nemanja Matic had a decent game, because he was under no pressure whatsoever at any point in this game. He was able to get the ball and just pass it around, which is, of course, the thing he wants. What he doesn't want is anyone actually running at him, or he has to actually do anything defensively. Because he offers absolutely nothing. Then Herrera was busy in midfield. United took a real, were really dominant in midfield in this game, which is unusual, because aren't normally dominant against anybody. But had 60-odd% possession and lively up front, with Rashford scoring and assisting, and Mata looking good too. All good all round.
5 tackles and 9 interceptions for Ander Herrera in that game.
Surprised he had to make that many tackles. Fulham didn't offer much, did they?
9 interceptions is a massive number, isn't it? You don't often. That's like N'Golo Kante on a good day numbers. That is. The goals were nice. The Juan Mata goal I thought was delightful. The Rashford pullback and the Mata side foot. That was a particularly enjoyable one. Ashley Young's was obviously a proper worldie of a belter, but Marcus Rashford, not to be undone, scored the same goal but from further out. And I nerded out, because I put in the Rantcast WhatsApp group a guess of what the XG on that goal would be, and it was exactly the marked XG on Understat, which was 0.03. So it's fair to say it's fairly speculative effort from Rashford.
A long way out. At an angle, and keeper shouldn't be beaten on that side, really.
No, he really, really should not. I thought, by the way, Fulham's penalty was 100% a penalty, because I think Herrera's knee clashes into the striker's knee before he takes the ball.
You've gone soft, you have. That's proper mad dog tackle, that was. Great defense. Like, let's just turn this into basketball, shall we?
No, you just can't smash the striker's knee with your knee on the way to getting the ball.
It's totally fair. Totally fair.
I mean, it wasn't, was it? Let's face it. But also, particularly unfair, I thought, was the sending off of Angelisa, who the tackle, the second yellow card tackle, ended up looking really bad because Rashford, I don't think dived. I think he kind of leapt out of the way of the tackle, anticipating something that wasn't quite there, and it looked like Angelisa had sent him flying up in the air, but he really hadn't. I thought that was very, very unlucky.
Yes. Coming so soon as well, just as they thought they were getting back into it. But yeah, sucks to be them, doesn't it? Because United are back, we're great again, we're making United great again. Mourinho's the top manager we always knew him to be, and City ought to get worried.
Diego Dallo was real good in this game.
And look, the kind of game that suits him, obviously, because he wasn't under any defensive pressure. So none of the kind of raw parts of his game exposed at all. And the thing he does really well is use that pace and get into great positions and put in some really good crosses.
Yeah,
really good crosses. I mean, more crosses in this game than Antonio Valencia has done for years, I think.
Well, you've got to put crosses in against Fulham at Old Trafford, haven't you?
Yeah, not the 81.
The rules, no.
How many crosses did we put in?
I don't know. I haven't got the data, but I think it was a lot less than 81. Do you want me to find out? It won't take me very long. Here we go. It's a lot, actually.
25. 25
it's
crosses.
like a decent number of crosses. But they're all from the fullbacks, aren't they? I mean, Juan Mata put in a few, but more or less all of them from the fullbacks. 8 from Dallo and 9 from Ashley Young. I don't think you can draw any conclusions from anything about that game whatsoever, except that we're still better than Fulham.
We kind of knew that beforehand. Well, just about.
Well, I sort of thought we were better than Southampton and Crystal Palace as well, but it turned out that was not the case. But then also I thought that Arsenal were better than us, and apparently they're not. They're the same. It's so funny how doesn't matter what's happening at United, doesn't matter what's happening at Arsenal, we are still weirdly their kryptonite. David Moyes' only victory against a decent side was against Arsenal, wasn't it? And Louis van Gaal, of course, I think he had Arsenal's number. Maybe we lost one game to them. But anyway, we very rarely...
We're chasing them down. We're only 2 wins away from them now. Only 2 wins away from the top 4.
Amazing.
Could be there. We could be third by Christmas.
Yeah,
or just
absolutely.
after, or the new year. Could be third by the new year, chasing City down, who are slipping fast.
I mean, it is nice, isn't it, that we now are actually in the top 6. Although Everton have got a game in hand on us, are 3 points behind, and have considerably got better goal difference than us. Because
I'm looking. I'm staying positive. What are there? 5 or 6 games until sort of the end of the Christmas period, early January. If we win all our games and City lose all theirs, we might even get into second.
Yeah, that's. I mean, also Chelsea and Tottenham and Arsenal would have to lose almost all of theirs too.
Could happen.
Yeah, it could. So,
or we could lose our next game at the weekend and be behind Bournemouth and be down to 8th again,
and have negative goal difference again. The fact that our goal difference is +2 after 16 games of the season is mad. I mean, it's not quite as mad as the fact that we still had negative goal difference after 15 games of the season, but I'm not going to stop talking about this until it looks respectable, because it's so ridiculous. Mourinho is doing such a terrible job of managing Manchester United. I do feel like such a broken record about this at this point, but I genuinely don't understand his supporters. The only thing I can think is that people kind of invested so much hope in him that they're just refusing to shift out of, they'll blame Pogba, they'll blame the Glazers, they'll blame Woodward, they'll blame the kit man, they'll blame the press, they'll blame whoever it is.
But yeah, excuse me. I think you're right. It's a coalition, and I think that coalition is formed from different things. So there are people who will just defend the job he's doing, for whatever reason, the Mourinho truthers. And it's nuts because it's entirely based on something he did years ago. And because I don't think the cup victories United got had anything to do with the real progress of the team. There are people who are different. They hate the Glazers and Woodward so much that they're prepared to defend Mourinho as a result. And I find some sympathy with that because I think the club is being run as a commercial entity, and Woodward has done a terrible job at creating any kind of structure on the football side of the business, and that antiquated structure together with a transfer policy that just looks at shiny things and doesn't seem to have any kind of red thread running through it. It is creating the conditions for the manager, any manager, to fail and not to do a great job. With all those caveats, ... Mourinho's still doing a job, a really job, because I think there are probably half a dozen managers in the league that would do a better job or get United higher up the league with the amount of talent that he's got in the team.
Yeah, and would be less life-sapping to pay attention to, which is really all I'm looking for at this point. Trophies are fine, but I just don't want to cry when after every manager's press conference. The classic before the Fulham game was Fred will play again when there's more security in defence. And as friend of the show, I think it was friend of the show, Carl Anker, put on Twitter, Fred will play when the defence is more secure as the beatings will stop when morale improves.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, Fred might improve the security of the defence if he came into the team instead of Matic. I mean, he's not a defensive midfielder, but he couldn't exactly do less defending than Nemanja Matic.
Man of the match, by the way. Man of the match in the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
McManaman absolutely losing the run of himself and giving Nemanja Matic man of the match in the Arsenal game. It really was one of those where you're like, what? Somebody said this to me, but I can't. I mean, I think everyone must have had the same thing. Like, what game did you just watch? Like, I think there's probably like 4 Arsenal players more deserving of man of the match than the Man United match. Oh, Mkhitaryan scored an absolutely worldy offside banger at Old Trafford again. Been a while since we saw one of those, but this time it was actually disallowed. He was offside and he swung his boot at it from Marco van Basten angles and smashed it into the net.
Yeah, sadly because Sanchez is injured or dropped or whatever, hamstring injury apparently. We didn't get to compare who's the biggest loser.
Oh, it's us, Ed. It's definitely us. I mean, me and you, because we choose to talk about this every week. Well, I say every week. Sorry about the delay. It was because Edward was in Buenos Aires.
Well, a little bit. I got kind of, I thought we'd agreed that we were going to record on the Saturday night, but you were out partying, caning it.
I think you made that up.
I did not make it up.
I definitely wasn't caning it. Anyway, so what else did we want to talk about? The United's women who were winning and scoring millions of goals and not conceding any goals ever lost away at Durham, and a lot of people saying that Durham are actually the kind of toughest other team in that division. Yeah,
and it's made it really tight at the top of that division now. Just a couple of points separating 3 teams, 3 or 4 teams. So
United way top on goal difference though at the moment. With a game in hand over 2 of the 3 teams at the top of the
Stoney
table.
out.
Stoney out in order that she can then manage the men's team.
Yeah, that's right. Why not? I'm sure she can double up.
I mean, there's no way she'd be doing a worse job. No, absolutely no way she'd be doing a worse job.
No, definitely not. This is obviously poor research on my part or old age, one of the two. I can't remember the assistant manager's name now who left a couple of weeks ago. Willie
Kirk.
That's right, Willie Kirk. Yes, who's gone to take over at Everton. Bit lightweight of him, isn't it? To first job that comes along, and Everton are bottom of the Women's Super League, and he jumped ship.
Outrageous. No loyalty. There's no loyalty in the women's game. It's all about money.
That's right. Yeah. No doubt. All right, yeah. So a hiccup for the women's team, but they've been smashing it in so much this season. I'm sure it won't last very long.
Yeah, be interesting to see how they respond, because it is always interesting to see how teams that have been on rampant winning streaks cope with losing a game. But given the nature of that particular winning streak, it seems hard to imagine that they're going to collapse. No more games for 2018 for them. They get a proper sort of break at this time of year, unlike the men, of course, who have to play an amount of football, which means that there's literally no way that the matches can be good. Yay!
That's right. I was going to say, talking of teams that have been on a winning streak of one game, are we going to lose when we play Valencia this week?
We don't know when this podcast is coming up. I'm just going to. That game also is completely meaningless thanks to the Marouane Fellaini. The magical moment of Marouane Fellaini pulling out the dramatic last-minute winner against Young Boys. So I don't care. To be honest, I don't care whether we win or lose in games that matter at the moment. So just to be absolutely straight with everyone, there's no chance I'm watching this game. No chance. European goals show all the way for me on that night. All right, so Ed, have we got any Twitter questions?
We've got a few. We got a few. Andrew McCoy, that's MACCATAQ on Twitter, says, "What's the possibility of Anfield Part 2? Will Mata even get a look in? He had a good game against Arsenal."
Yeah, he really did, and an excellent game against Fulham, of course.
So no.
I guess I'd be not that surprised if he was in the starting 11.
But he won't play centrally. If he's in the team, he's going to be in one of the wide positions.
Of course, he was. He played wide right at Anfield.
Yeah.
In that beautiful, beautiful game, and I think the only way he plays is if we play a 4-3-3, and I don't think we're going to play a 4-3-3. So I guess it seems unlikely.
I suppose it's much more likely we're playing a 7 something.
I mean, on paper, I guess I'm expecting a 5-3-2.
Yeah, but with 2 holding. 7. Nicholas Lotter says, "Please discuss who do you want as the next United manager and what do you expect from him?"
I mean,
so if we lose 6-0 to Liverpool, does Mourinho get sacked?
Well, there was a story, wasn't there, this week that United are desperate for Pochettino in the summer, and that definitely would check out with stuff that I've heard from various reasonably well-placed people. I definitely think that it certainly would not be at all surprising, and I would be absolutely over the moon if we appointed Pochettino.
I do still hear a lot of people say, "Oh, he's never won a trophy. Spurs haven't won anything." But does winning a cup mean anything?
No, I tell you what though, if he does come to us in the summer, I really hope they do win a trophy under him this season, wherever he goes. Basically, I really think I just got so much time for the job that he's done at Spurs. I think it's one of the most remarkable achievements in the Premier League era, actually. And I do think that there are criticisms that you can level against it. And I think particularly is it 2 FA Cup semi-finals where they've really under-delivered? And I suppose you could say it's kind of embarrassing to let Leicester win the league ahead of you, but everyone else in the division let Leicester win the league ahead of them, and it's not supposed to be Tottenham's job to stop Leicester winning the league, is it?
No, that's right. No, it's not. And look, he's got a team that plays really well. One criticism, apart from the not winning trophies that you hear, is that, well, look how many talented players he's got. And shouldn't he be doing more? But he's crafted those talented players, and he's built them, and he's built the squad, and he has helped turn Harry Kane into one of the world's leading strikers, from being a very good striker to being even better than that. They've done reasonably well in Champions League, haven't they?
Yeah.
There's no guarantee they qualify this time out.
No, but they actually did have a difficult group.
Yeah. They've had a difficult group, and they've still got a game to play where they could qualify, and they more likely than not will make the top four. Although of course that's going to be super tight this season, especially with United coming up fast. Now we're back again. But yeah, I think he's done a great job, and he'd be a great choice for United, and much more exciting. Much more chance of really building something, I think, than getting one of the European managers that's been around the European mill a bunch of times.
I mean, I'd be so depressed if we get
Ancelotti.
Yeah, exactly. Like anything on that level of manager, it's got to be someone who might build something. It's just got to be, because the squad isn't ready for an Ancelotti type. It needs, there's something, you need someone who is going to have a vision for managing the club, because there's no man, and Pochettino would definitely have that. So there's no guarantee it would be a success.
No, but it'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There'd be some hope.
With the players he's got, wouldn't he get them playing because he'd give them something to be inspired about?
Absolutely. And we don't know what he'd be like in terms of steering transfers, I think it's fair to say. But we do know that he can get the best out of upper mid-tier players and very, very good players. So, yeah, I'd love it.
How often in your workplace, asked Curd Rice Aurora on Twitter, does deflection work to the extent it does at MUFC press conferences? Yeah, I often say to the boss, it was him over there. It was...
Never in my line of work. In fact, it's exactly the opposite of what I try and encourage people to do.
First it was Martial, and now Pogba. Who do you think is the next player, Mourinho or scapegoat, when it's not going well for him? Asked Balfan 10.
I don't think...
Is anyone in the queue? I mean, he's beat up on Shaw. He's beat up on Pogba. Is he beating up on Sanchez? Sort of, but he's not been vocally critical of him. Dropped in and then he got injured.
I don't think he needs another one. I think Pogba just he hasn't. Pogba's not new, is he? He did it almost exactly the same time last season, a bit later last season into the season that he did it to Pogba. Then just does it to Pogba when he needs to, and he's going to be gone at the end of the season. So I don't think we're going to have time for another major scapegoat between now and then.
Given the correlation between the decline of the UK and United's fortunes, is the only way out of this mess for both parties for the government to provide a sovereign wealth fund to get United back to the top, like Abu Dhabi, but with a history of more human rights abuse?
I mean, what do you think?
Us, Phil C, 1978. Actually, absolutely. I think the UK government could get itself out of Brexit by deflecting attention and sticking £1 billion into a pot for Mourinho to spend on transfers. They may even be hated more if they did that.
Great, perfect.
Awesome. Magnus Henderson, Magnus BH, on Twitter says, is Pogba a luxury item, or that MUFC do not need right now? No, he's not a luxury item. I hate this idea that a player is a luxury. No, he's a world-class player whom needs to put in more world-class performances than we see from him, and needs a manager who is able to extract those from the player without flipping his lid and destroying him in the press when he's not able to perform.
Yeah, Mourinho having people convinced, I'm not saying Magnus is, but Mourinho having people even suggesting that Pogba's a luxury player is pure Mourinho Machiavellian nonsense. It's crazy. Pogba is, look at the French World Cup win. Pogba was anything but a luxury in that World Cup win. He was a vital, hard-working, diligent, disciplined cog in a machine.
Yeah. Very legal and very cool Devin, notorious Dev, says, do you and Paul ever have a tough time getting excited to do a pod after a bad results? Paul doesn't come off as a negative person, but you do seem to enjoy drawing parallels between Mourinho and Trump. And there's some kind of emoji.
What kind of emoji could you describe it to me?
It's kind of hands up emoji.
Okay. Is it? He's like saying, "Please don't hurt me" for saying that. I have found it extraordinarily difficult to get excited to podcast this season in general. But whenever we do it, it's super fun I love talking to you, Ed. So that's the enjoyment I get out of it. But covering United seems totally redundant at the moment.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about United for a long time, so what's the point in stopping now? And the parallels between Mourinho and Trump, really nothing to do with the first one. He just does it himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Given the recent team changes, with Pogba being on the bench and the midfield seemingly working harder as a unit, with Liverpool away coming up on Sunday, my question is this. Do you class Die Hard as a Christmas film?
Tom Victor, a brilliant freelance football and other things writer, put an article on Shortlist, which was like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? The people have spoken. But then when you click on it, it just says, we had this discussion last year. Go out and do something with your lives.
No, very fair. Neil Monaghan, who asked that question. And yes, it is a Christmas movie. And didn't we do a whole bonus special for backers on Christmas movies? Did we not?
Am I
making it up?
I think we did. That rings a bell. Listen, the thing about the actual answer
and if we didn't, since it's getting quite late in the day, or if we did, can we just copy and paste it into this week's show?
The thing about this question is it presumes that Christmas movie is a genre rather than a potential subgenre. So like Trading Places isn't a Christmas movie, but it's a comedy with a Christmas component. And Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie in that Christmas is not the central theme of Die Hard, but it is it's an action. You know how there's action comedies? Well, Die Hard is an action Christmas movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one because there are a bunch of films that are Christmas first and something else second. Yeah. Right? So Hallmark Christmas movies, for example, are all of the same construct, all of them. So ostensibly they're romantic comedies, but they are all Christmas movies.
So I've got a confession to make to the good people of the Rantcast listeners. I watched I watched an actual good film on Netflix. No, I didn't. No, I was not feeling brilliant, and I watched Central Intelligence, starring The Rock and Kevin Hart.
It's bad.
Well, it's got some funny bits in it, but yeah, it's bad. And also mad problematic as anything that stars The Rock and Kevin Hart, as you would imagine it would be. It's not a great movie. And then at the end of this is really embarrassing. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this voluntarily. I don't have to, but I see it seems to be coming out now, so here we go. They showed a trailer for a film called The Princess Switch, which is a Netflix original.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yes!
I say I've seen it in that Mrs. Rand really loves these really bad movies and they're often in the background while I'm doing something more important.
Right. So I watched this trailer, and in the trailer there's an old man who says, Christmas wishes do sometimes come true. And I was like, I know what I'm doing next this evening. I'm going to watch this movie. So I watched it. I mean, it's not good by any stretch of the imagination, but it is entirely functional as an example of its genre, which is, Christmas magic and romance.
Yeah. Sadly, Netflix has started making these movies as well.
This is a Netflix original. This is a Netflix movie.
Right, because they've got a. I think they even had was it Christmas Princess or something, and they had Christmas Princess 2 this year.
Okay, I've got some catching up to do apparently.
Yeah, you're missing out.
Yeah. Anyway, Die Hard is a movie set at Christmas.
Jax365 says, what happens first, parliamentary vote on the Brexit deal or Jose gets the sack?
We have managed to avoid. I mean, we make politics jokes in inverted commas. They're a bit route one to be considered jokes, but we make politics references occasionally. We haven't actually had a serious discussion about Brexit as it relates to United because it's impossible.
Weren't we talking about omnishambles earlier? Yeah, there it is. That's how it relates to United.
Yeah,
omnishambles.
But I mean, because no one knows anything about what's going to happen, can't do any analysis of what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I guess a Brexit vote is technically going to happen sooner than Mourinho getting sacked, because Mourinho's not getting sacked until May. And something's got to happen with Brexit before that.
Well, yeah, literally does, yes, 29th of March. At which point the UK is sent back to the Stone Age, I think, and we all start having to hunt bison.
I'm out.
Or something.
I don't want to do that. I want vegetables. Can I grow vegetables? Is that allowed?
You can, but the zombies will invade your garden, eat all your vegetables, and then eat you.
Yeah. Everyone who voted, nothing.
Which one would you rather have? Asks Sunir Verma. Mourinho as United manager or Liverpool winning the league? Yeah, there you go, Paul. This one's for you.
Oh, God.
Liverpool win the league, but Mourinho.
How long
gets the boot?
How long is Mourinho United manager for? If Liverpool don't win the league, like how long do I have to take him for?
He's not specified the parameters. Maybe
I'll let you.
forever.
No, come on, be real. Like
until Liverpool win the league.
In that case, just get it out of the way now. They can win it this season. That's fine. I would. I mean, if we're talking about for an indefinite period of time, then yeah, I'll take this short-term hit. I don't care if Liverpool win the league. That's the thing. Not really. What I care much more about enjoying watching United than Liverpool suffering by far.
Related question. Thus 963 says, now that we've beaten the worst team in the league, will Jose get a new contract? 10 years. 10 years. He's going to sign it on the pitch.
You've got to imagine Woodward hates Jose at this point.
Well, no, you gave him a new 5-year contract last season.
Yeah, fair enough.
Another related question, Vijay Rajan says, have you ever wanted United to drop points if it meant Jose was going to get the sack? Well, no, but I'm going to caveat that with there is that nagging voice at the back of my head after United win games, which means he's going to be around for a bit longer. So no, I want United to win every game 10-0. But we're not in a real, that's not real, is it? And we're not playing good football. So I definitely have mixed emotions.
Yeah, me too.
Because I want him gone.
Yeah.
We just lost 1,000 listeners with me saying that.
Honestly, the numbers are not. Look, we've looked at the numbers. I've looked at the weenus, and I'm not happy. No, we've been crunching the numbers, and Mourinho is not good for our show, or should I more accurately say, our reaction to Mourinho is not good for our numbers.
Yeah. Who will be sacked first, May or Mourinho?
It's the same question.
Same question. Creamfield Twinkie. It's so derivative, mate. Yeah, so just. Would you take Ozil? No, thanks. No.
There was a time when
there was a time, yeah. But I think in a Mourinho team, especially. I mean, I know Mourinho managed him before, but it doesn't feel like a good fit right now, does it? And he's a player on the slide.
Yeah, because he's playing way too much Fortnite.
That's true, and. This one, final question for you from friend of the show, Tarek Amir, La False number 12, on Twitter says, does the world really need a Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
I think it's got some live action components to it, which is very disturbing because Sonic should not interact with real humans.
Is it alive? Are they spray painted hedgehog blue? Animatronics?
Not that kind of live action. A kind of mix of CGI and live action, Smurfs style. No, the world doesn't need a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. The only good Sonic product are the first 2, maybe 3 Mega Drive games.
Do you know there's a Smurfs porn movie?
I mean, there's an everything porn movie.
No, I've seen it.
Of course you have.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Princess Switch on Netflix. You're watching Smurf porn.
Yeah, problem is you really can't paint everything blue, and even when you do, it rubs off some parts. Deeply disturbing. Anyway, on that note, that visual note, we should move on to a preview of the Valencia and Liverpool games.
So, the Valencia game being borderline irrelevant, I guess we should talk about a game which is never irrelevant and is looking a little sticky this time around. I mean, I don't want to say this out loud or talk about it or acknowledge its reality, but sorry, I feel a bit sick. Liverpool are top of the league.
Fuck off. No, they're not. Wrong, totally wrong. They're not top of the moral league, are they?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, look who they're comparing themselves to at the moment.
So Mourinho's already said that Pogba will play against Valencia, hasn't he? So, right. Which means he's getting dropped for this game.
I mean, unless he has a worldie against Valencia,
there's nothing you can do. Like, because if he scores like a 35-yarder, it's going to butt up against Mourinho's ego.
Yeah.
If he scores 3 worldies and has a stormer of a game, that'll definitely rub Mourinho the wrong way. He needs to just be playing simple balls all game. That's the only thing he can do. Yeah. And make a few tackles and get in good defensive positions.
It's going to be so good when Mourinho gets sacked and never, ever goes anywhere near us ever again. It's just the worst. It's the worst. Anyway,
he could really do with having a good game though, Pogba. Yeah. If only for his own form.
I would be trying to get out in January, to be honest. Because the thing is, what are you going to do? I mean, unless he really just absolutely loves United, which we know he does care about United. It was interesting. There were a few pictures on Instagram, on Pogba's Instagram story of him out with a few players. And I was just like, if I was those players, I wouldn't want to be seen in public with him if I'm trying to get in the team. So if Luke Shaw's dropped, we kind of know why. But anyway.
Well, he was against Fulham.
Oh, yeah. Was he not injured or something?
He was on the bench.
Okay. Anyway, so Liverpool are a very different proposition this season. I mean, I've got nothing original to say about them. They're a very different proposition ever since they signed Virgil van Dijk. £75 million, extraordinarily well spent. And a hat tip to friend of the show, Barca Jim, who for many, many years was telling us at every opportunity he could that United should sign Virgil van Dijk because he could absolutely do it at the top level.
Jim, I never really believed it either, to be honest.
Well, you were very wrong. Very, very wrong, it turns out, because he's one of the very best centre-backs in the world, isn't he, at the moment?
Sure wasn't on the bench against Fulham, so,
Yeah, I think he was injured. I believe I remember reading that he was unavailable for that game, or doubtful at least for that game. But anyway, the Van Dijk thing has changed Liverpool a lot this season. They are not the kind of bombastic, free-scoring team of last season, but they're much, much less vulnerable at the back. And I can't help wondering if this game's going to be an absolute stinker. I feel like, we talked a lot about Mourinho parking the bus, and I would say that there's only ever really been 1 or 2 occasions he's actually fully parked the bus since he got to United, and one of them was Liverpool away in the sort of early part of last season that really derailed our momentum. And I'm sure this is going to be an ultra defensive performance from us.
Yeah, for a couple of reasons. One, Mourinho's going to look at the teams and think United are inferior, and that always gets him in a difficult position. And the second is that Liverpool are likely to have a lot of possession, I imagine, in this game, because they have been, pretty high up the possession stats this season. So, whether we're parking the bus or just can't get the ball, it might well be United on the back foot a lot. If there's no Pogba in the team, and I expect there won't be, he's going to play Matic and Herrera, and might even play Fellaini as well, which will be an interesting trio in midfield. But then again, he has surprised us occasionally, hasn't he, by playing a lot of attacking players as well. So maybe he'll do that, and maybe he'll play like a front three of Martial, Rashford and Lukaku or something like that to try and get pace into the team as well.
So to kind of talk a bit more about Liverpool, as reticent as I am to do that,
They're scumbags. They're
they've-
scumbags. That's what you need to call them.
They've conceded 3 fewer goals than Man City this season, but actually their expected goals against is quite considerably higher. It's a fairly substantial difference of almost.
That is what getting a decent goalkeeper does for you.
It is. Ours is actually, we've actually conceded more goals than our expected goals against, which is quite some going with David De Gea in net. It shows that he's definitely not having that kind of standout season, although he's made a couple of amazing saves. I think Liverpool's position, unlike City's, is slightly fortuitous, and I would be. I mean, listen, who knows what's going to happen from here on out? But if Liverpool end up going through the season unbeaten and win the league, hats off to them. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it's they've won a lot of games by very fine margins so far this season, and they do look like they are trying to kind of conserve a bit of energy and not burn out in the way that they have done so far. But I think given how relentless City are, that Chelsea game aside, I think it's going to be a very tough ask for them to overthrow City, basically.
Yeah, and we're only a third or a quarter of the way into the season, something like that.
I mean,
a bit more nearer half. Than
yes,
a third.
it's definitely not a quarter.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a huge call to say that City are still a better side and still more likely to win the title. But it doesn't look like a Liverpool side that's going to go pop either. And interesting looking at expected goals against, though, because if there is any regression to the mean and they start shipping a few more goals than perhaps we expect or has been expected to date, then that's going to change some of those fine games, fine margins. But still, 6 goals against, that's an awfully good record, isn't it? We're talking of 6 goals against. Okay, so where are we going to find the goal from at Anfield?
I don't think we are. I really don't think we are going to find a goal at Anfield, and I don't think we're even going to really be trying to find a goal. I think the best chance is that we score a worldie from a counter attack. I think we're going to have 7 shots on goal in that match. I think it's going to be. We're not going to create anything meaningful. Maybe we'll have a bright first 10 minutes, as we sometimes do in these games. But I think as soon as anything bad happens to us, well, actually, I don't know. It's weird because that does actually seem to be the one catalyst for us to be good is bad things happening to us. But and maybe the players will be kind of more up for it. They have demonstrated a couple of bits of up for itness recently, but where do you think good things are going to happen from?
Set pieces. I'm not even sure that we're actually that good at set pieces.
No, I was going to say that seems like we're not that good at those.
But they are opportunities. Yeah, the thing I'm worried about is if he does play that kind of midfield that looks something like Matic, Herrera, and Fellaini. How do we get close to the Liverpool box at all? It's just going to be a huge gap. I mean, they push Fellaini up to play just behind Lukaku and bang it long. Is that the plan here? Maybe.
I wonder whether he'll do what he did against Arsenal and play Lingard in the centre of the park. I mean, that was at home though, and you kind of think they're not going to do that way. I mean, you have to say midfield is probably Liverpool's biggest weakness, isn't it? Because their defence is really clearly solid now. Their attack is obviously superb. Salah just put his goal scoring numbers back up to where he would hope they would be with a hat trick at the weekend. But the Mane and Salah. I mean, Firmino is like whatever he is. He's like I don't know what he's the falsest of false nines, isn't he? He's such a false nine. He's basically a centre back. But Mane and Salah are amazing. But Keita and Fabinho have not revolutionised Liverpool's midfield in the way that they would perhaps have been hoping they would have done up to this point.
No, that's right. I would imagine both of them are actually playing a significant role in in helping Liverpool not concede. You know, certainly Fabinho. I mean, he's not always been in the team, has he? Fabinho.
He's hardly been in the team.
Yeah. And Keita's a real all-round player. I mean, he's definitely not a defensive player, but he's not a pure attacker either. So, you know, it gives them solidity. They've definitely got more options than they used to have with those two in there. And they are always going to score goals, even if they are being outscored by Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Yeah. Arsenal are so weird. They're the weirdest club in the country, by far. Arsenal. It's their performance against us was just hilarious. Anyway, enough about that. We've talked enough about that. So, I guess we have to do what we have to do. We have to predict scores for these two games. I can barely muster a score prediction against Valencia. We're going to win 10-0, as you referenced earlier. We're going to beat Valencia 10-0. That's my prediction.
Totes. Yeah, the interesting thing, we didn't really preview Valencia, but do you think he'll put a full side out?
No way. I mean, do you mean, will he field 11 players?
Yeah,
because I think he has to.
No, I mean, you know, a near full strength side. I mean, how let me rephrase that then. How many changes is he going to make?
I mean, he should be playing entirely reserves in that game. It's a completely, totally and utterly meaningless game, right? So the only way we finish top of that group is if somehow young boys beat Juventus. So, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not going to happen. And given that it's Liverpool at the weekend, and given that playing a full-strength side is far from a guarantee that we're going to beat Valencia at their place anyway, he's surely got to just play like Andres Pereira times 11.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see who takes that. We'll get a clue soon, I guess, if there are a bunch of kids, because he can pick from the B list, of course, in the Champions League, which gives him quite a lot of flexibility in terms of who could play. We'll see.
Yeah. So, predict a score for that game. I've said 10-0 to United.
That's not a prediction.
No,
it's nonsense.
It's my prediction.
Nonsense.
10-0
that is
to
not your
United.
prediction.
All right.
Okay.
Well, why not? That is no less nonsense than any other prediction I could make, to be honest. I mean,
you should put some money where your mouth is. Let's have a spread bet on that. What's the under over?
No, I've got no idea. All right, I'll say a number that football results sometimes are instead. 2-1 to Valencia. There you go.
Oh, you're so negative. Now you're predicting a loss.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
Leave it out. I'm about to be really negative and predict a loss in a game I actually care about.
But United versus Yeovil in the FA Cup third round isn't coming up till the end. Who are we playing?
Reading.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to say 1-1 at Valencia. Why not?
All right. And then why not? Because it doesn't make any difference, and this is a game that's meaningless. So now predict a result, please, against Liverpool. Now, this is not like what you want to happen. This is the score that you think that it will be at the weekend between Man United and Liverpool.
I think it'll be 2-0 to Liverpool.
Wow. Okay, right. I just want to say, everyone, stock up on tinned goods. Like, Ed's just predicted a loss for Man United. Is that the first time you've ever predicted a loss for United?
No, I'm sure that is not the first time ever.
It's got to be under 10 times in 350 episodes.
I'm sure someone could go back and do the analysis of exactly what our points total would be. 110 points, 107 points.
No, we sometimes predict draws. No, I think we're going to lose this game. I think we're going to lose this game badly, not necessarily like by loads and loads of goals, but I don't think it's going to be much of a contest, unfortunately. Although, I was going to say United have kind of consistently surprised. The one time they didn't was against City away, where, it was so kind of comfortably beaten. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go for a 3-1 again, like that City game. So there we go. I think it'll be rubbish. But
you watch the Valencia game, more chance we'll win.
Yeah, we've come up with a schedule for podcasts over Christmas. The next one we're going to do, we're going to be recording on the 16th of December. So that's just in a few days' time after the game at the weekend. Then there's a little break, and then we do one after Christmas, and then another one quite close to that afterwards, and then one once the year's up and running in the middle of the January. So all the Christmas games will be covered. I think the ones we're going to give slightly short shrift to, based on timings, will end up being Cardiff at home and the FA Cup third round, but everything else will hopefully be relatively timely, assuming there's no disasters with technology or travel or health or anything like that. So touch wood, we're going to be able to put some podcasts out for you over the Christmas season. Thank you very much for sticking with us so far this year. Sorry it's all so grumpy. It was nice when United won. It's a shame, and let's hope they do again this weekend, because stranger things have happened.
True, yeah. Not many stranger things.
No, that's true. All right, see you at the weekend.
See you. Bye now.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.